The average American family spends over $1,400 every year on prescription and over-the-counter medications. Most of those medications treat the same handful of conditions: pain, anxiety, poor sleep, digestive problems, low immunity, and infections. Every single one of those conditions has a plant-based remedy that humans relied on for thousands of years before pharmaceutical companies existed. Today, I am showing you 9 herbs you can plant right now in pots, in your garden, or on your windowsill that between them address almost every common health complaint your household faces. And number 6 is the herb that outsells Prozac in Germany. Not historically, right now today. If you had no idea that a backyard herb garden could replace most of your medicine cabinet, subscribe right now because this is exactly the kind of knowledge I share every single week on this channel. Herb number 1, Echinacea. The moment someone in your house gets a cold, most people reach for the car keys to drive to a pharmacy. What if that remedy was already growing 3 feet from your back door? Echinacea purpurea is the most researched immune-boosting herb in the world. Multiple clinical studies confirm it reduces both the duration and severity of upper respiratory infections when taken at the first sign of illness. It grows as a beautiful perennial flower in any garden, comes back bigger every year from the same root, and produces harvestable material from the roots, stems, leaves, and seeds, meaning every part of the plant is useful medicine. Plant it once in a sunny spot, and it asks almost nothing from you for years. Dry the roots and aerial parts at the end of the season, and you have your own immune support supply ready before winter hits. And the next herb handles the thing that sends more people to doctors than almost anything else: pain. Herb number 2, white willow. White. Before aspirin existed, white willow bark was the pain reliever that the entire world used. Salix alba contains salicin, the exact compound that chemists isolated and synthesized to create aspirin in a laboratory. The difference is that the natural form releases slowly through digestion, meaning longer-lasting relief and significantly less stomach irritation than the synthetic version. A white willow tree or shrub planted in your garden grows quickly, requires almost no maintenance, and produces harvestable bark from its branches every single season. You dry the bark, make a simple tea or tincture, and you have a natural pain and fever remedy that has been working for human beings for over 3,000 years. Headaches, joint pain, muscle aches, and fever. White willow addresses all of them. And number 3 is the herb that the entire wellness industry is currently spending billions trying to put into pill form when you can grow it yourself for free. Herb number 3, lavender. The anxiety and sleep medication market is worth over $80 billion globally. The active compounds driving that entire industry, the ones that calm the nervous system, reduce cortisol, and promote deep sleep, are present in far more complex and bioavailable forms in a single lavender plant growing in your garden than in most commercial supplements. Inhaling fresh lavender essential oil has measurable effects on cortisol levels that modern research has confirmed repeatedly. Drinking lavender tea before bed reduces the time it takes to fall asleep without any of the grogginess or dependency risk that comes with pharmaceutical sleep aids. Lavender grows in full sun with almost no water once established. It is drought tolerant, cold hardy in most climates, and lives for decades. Plant it along your path so you brush against it and release the fragrance every time you walk past. Your garden becomes your stress relief the moment you step outside. And the next herb has been sitting in your kitchen spice rack doing nothing because you have been using the dried version when the fresh plant is incomparably more powerful. Herb number 4, ginger. Most people know ginger as a cooking ingredient. Almost nobody grows it at home. That is a significant mistake. Fresh ginger root is one of the most pharmacologically active plants ever studied. The anti-inflammatory compounds in fresh ginger, gingerols, are present in concentrations that the dried powder form cannot match. Research confirms fresh ginger reduces nausea more effectively than most over-the-counter anti-nausea medications, decreases muscle soreness after exercise, lowers markers of chronic inflammation that drive arthritis and joint disease, and supports digestion in ways that address everything from bloating to irritable bowel symptoms. You grow ginger at home by simply buying a fresh organic ginger root from a grocery store, placing it in a shallow pot of compost with the growth buds facing up, keeping it warm and moderately moist, and within 3 weeks, new shoots emerge. By the end of the season, you dig up a root several times larger than what you planted. And the next herb is the one your grandmother kept in her garden for a reason she probably could not fully explain. But modern immunology now can. Herb number 5, elderberry. Sambucus nigra. The immune-modulating properties of elderberry have been confirmed in peer-reviewed clinical research showing it reduces influenza duration by an average of 4 days compared to placebo. 4 days. That is the difference between a minor inconvenience and a week loss from work. Elderberry syrup made at home from your own garden costs almost nothing per batch. Store-bought elderberry syrup costs between $20 and $40 per bottle for the same preparation. Every major traditional medicine system on Earth, European, African, Asian, Indigenous American, independently identified elderberry as a key plant for immune protection. That level of convergence across unconnected civilizations that never communicated with each other is not coincidence. It is evidence. Plant an elderberry shrub in your garden this season, and within 2 to 3 years you have a self-sustaining berry source that produces armfuls of immune medicine every single autumn. And number 6 is the one I mentioned at the start, the herb that is outselling a major pharmaceutical antidepressant right now in one of the most medically rigorous countries in the world. Drop the number of the herb that surprised you most in the comments below. I am turning whichever one gets the most votes into a full growing and preparation guide. Your comment decides what I make next. Herb number 6, St. John's wort. In Germany, physicians write more prescriptions for St. John's wort than for Prozac, not in the past. Right now, multiple meta-analyses of peer-reviewed clinical trials confirm that Hypericum perforatum is as effective as standard antidepressants for mild to moderate depression, with a significantly better side effect profile. It grows as a cheerful, yellow-flowered perennial that thrives in average garden soil with minimal attention. The flowers are harvested in midsummer when they first open. This is critical because the active compounds are at their peak concentration exactly at flowering. You make a simple oil infusion or tincture from the fresh flowers within hours of harvest. That preparation supports mood, nerve pain, and seasonal emotional shifts in a way that has been documented in medical literature for centuries. Most people walk past this plant without knowing what they are looking at. You are about to be one of the people who knows. And number 7 has been treating the condition that sends more people to pharmacies in winter than almost anything else. Herb number 7, thyme. When a cough, chest infection, or sore throat hits your household, most people's first instinct is a trip to the pharmacy for a bottle of cough syrup. Here is what the label on that cough syrup will not tell you. The active expectorant compound in many commercial cough preparations is derived from thymol, the primary active compound in thyme. You can grow the original source in a 4-inch pot on your windowsill for less than $2. Thyme tea, made from fresh or dried leaves, is a documented bronchial relaxant and antimicrobial with clinical evidence behind it. The German Commission E, the most rigorous herbal medicine regulatory body in the world, formally approves thyme preparations for bronchitis and upper respiratory catarrh. Thyme is a perennial that survives hard winters, grows in poor dry soil, and comes back stronger every year. One plant produces more than enough dried herb to get your entire household through a winter of coughs and colds. And the next herb addresses the condition that nobody wants to talk about, but almost everyone experiences. If any of these herbs are ones you have been paying pharmacy prices for when you could be growing them at home, hit like right now. It helps me reach the people who need to see this. Herb number 8, peppermint. Digestive problems are the second most common reason people visit a doctor after respiratory illness. Bloating, irritable bowel syndrome, indigestion, nausea, and cramping send millions of people to pharmacies every year for products that frequently provide only partial relief. Peppermint has more clinical evidence behind it for digestive support than almost any other herb in existence. Enteric-coated peppermint oil capsules are clinically proven for irritable bowel syndrome in trials that meet pharmaceutical research standards. Fresh peppermint tea made from leaves you harvest 30 seconds before you use them is significantly more effective than any dried or processed commercial form because the volatile oils that carry the therapeutic action begin degrading the moment you cut the leaf. Grow peppermint in a container on your porch or windowsill. It spreads aggressively, so always keep it contained, and you have instant access to the most researched digestive herb in the world every single day. And the final herb on today's list is the one that addresses the thing nobody sleeps well without, and most people never think to grow it. Herb number 9, Valerian. The global sleep aid market is worth over $80 billion. The vast majority of those products either carry dependency risk, cause next-day grogginess, or both. Valerian root, Valeriana officinalis, has been used as a sleep remedy for over 2,000 years and has clinical evidence supporting its ability to reduce the time it takes to fall asleep, improve sleep quality, and reduce nighttime waking without any of the dependency or grogginess associated with pharmaceutical options. It grows as a tall, attractive perennial with clusters of small, pale pink flowers that pollinators love. The roots are harvested in the plant's second year when the active compound concentration peaks. You dry them, make a simple tincture or tea, and take it 30 minutes before bed. One established valerian plant produces more than enough root material for a full year of use. Plant it once and it comes back every year, producing better and more potent roots as the plant matures. Every single herb on today's list addresses a real common health condition that most households manage with expensive pharmacy visits. Between Echinacea for immunity, white willow for pain, lavender for sleep and anxiety, ginger for inflammation and digestion, elderberry for immune protection, St. John's wort for mood, thyme for respiratory illness, peppermint for digestion, and valerian for sleep. You have a home pharmacy that addresses almost every condition your family faces every year. You do not need acres of land. You do not need gardening experience. Most of these herbs grow happily in pots on a balcony or windowsill. Pick 2 herbs from today's list that address the conditions your household deals with most and plant them this week. 2 plants. That is where it starts. Next week, I am going into the specific preparation methods for each of these herbs. How to make teas, tinctures, and oils at home that are more potent than anything you can buy. Hit subscribe so you do not miss it. We are building a community of people who take their health back into their own hands. Be part of that.